What's happening, everybody? Happy Thursday and welcome to the Dynasty WarZone, the People's Dynasty podcast. On today's show, I did a massive trade this week with none other than Jax Falcone. And if you saw the original live of this show, it was maybe the greatest fuck up clusterfuck in the history of this podcast. But we got him. We got him, ladies and gentlemen. We got him, the co-host of the Dynasty WarZone. He is with me, none other than the man of the hour and the man with the power, Jerry Sinclair, buddy. How are you? And just when I thought we had him, we do not. So we tried, and I'm going to move on because I need to move on. So on this week's show, like I said, I did a trade this week with none other than Jax Falcone of the Undroppables. It isn't a big industry league. I'm going to break that down. We got a couple of other things to break down, but we also want to help you tonight with your Dynasty playoffs. We have the Seahawks and the Rams playing here in about an hour as I just went live with this podcast, and I will help you with questions. So if you are watching live on YouTube, Player Profiler Now Plus, or if you're watching on Twitter, swing on over, go to the YouTube Player Profiler Now Plus, and leave me a comment. Ask me your Dynasty trade. I will get to it. I've got a good people, bad tweets. I've got a couple of things I want to run by. This is going to be, what's the word I'm looking for here? This is going to be, as our great United States Armed Forces say, particularly the United States Marines would say, we're going to improvise, we're going to adapt, and we're going to overcome. We're going to get you a podcast this week. But first, let me get you 60 seconds with my boy, the Podfather.
Pour one out for an incredible best ball season. It was a breakout 2025 for Fast Draft, but now the NFL action has started. That means it's DFS season. That's right. You might think, oh, wow, DFS, I can't win DFS. Oh, but you can on Fast Draft. You just pick any 6 guys, and you put them in a handful of booster spots. There's no salary rubric you have to follow. You're not going up against thousands of killer bots in these tournaments. Oh, no. These are regular people grabbing their 6 favorite plays of the week, and that's all you have to do. And we post the ownership so that you can choose how much chalk you want. There is no drafting. It's called the Quick 6 Super Slam. The Quick 6 Super Slam is the signature DFS contest at Fast Draft. It is changing DFS. We are making DFS great again. So go to fastdraft.app and use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. And let's go start drafting faster.
First of all, I want to tell you that Fast Draft is where it's at. The promo code is WarZone. All caps, all one word, WarZone. It gets you the dollar for dollar match up to $50. If you didn't sign up last week for the mini rabbit best ball tournament that's going on, that's a miss. We can still play some quick 6. We can still play some flex 6. You can still get in on the action on Fast Draft, and you want to set up your account because before you know it, we will be doing the rookie Origins draft. Origins last year, I don't have the data to support this take, but I'm going to make this take anyway because I believe it to be true. I think the Origins rookie draft was the strongest of the offseason programs. So much fun. So go ahead. You're probably going to get some extra bucks from grandma, maybe your aunt in Idaho. She sent you some cash. Use it. Set up a code, Fast Draft. Use the promo code WarZone and get that dollar for dollar match. We'll play some Fast Draft. Again, I am doing this on the fly. So if you have Dynasty trade questions, I would love to help you. So go over to Player Profiler Now Plus on YouTube, get in those comments, and I will get to them as fast as I can. But before I get into all of that, I have a good people, bad tweets. I have something Jerry shared with me. Then we'll get into my trade, what my mindset was, and let's let her rip. So the first thing I wanted to get into, and this person, although he may not be on the Mount Rushmore of good people, bad tweets, he has certainly been on the good people, bad tweets many times, and he's none other than Jeff Bell, at For Whom J Bell Tolls. And this one's not football related, but I thought I'd bring it up because I'm going to be on vacation next week. Next week, I'm going to be traveling. I don't know what the show for the Dynasty WarZone will look like next week. We'll figure something out. we always do. But since I'm traveling by airplane, I thought I'd bring this up. Jeff tweeted today, if everyone reclined the seat on an airplane, how is it different than no one reclining in terms of space? Now, I don't really want to dive too deep into Jeff's tweet, but if you're watching on Player Profiler Now Plus, or you want to go back and find this video, it streamed around 7:20 Eastern on Thursday the 18th. Man, jump in the comments. Tell me, what do you think about reclining in the airplane? Because for me, I'm going to do it. Now, I think there needs to be some etiquette to it. Obviously, on takeoff and landing, you're not supposed to have your tray table down. You're not supposed to have your seat in the reclined position. Not that everybody follows the rules, and not that I'm a rule follower, but sometimes, people do it. I'm a recline guy. Now, again, I like to get up to, you get the little gimmick alarm from the captain that, you can do it. Pop the tray table down. Usually I have a book. Sometimes I download stuff from Netflix to watch on the flight, but I'm a recline guy. I think the big thing that you have to do if you're going to recline when you're traveling is you got to let that thing kick back slowly. Don't just push the button and slam your shoulder blades and upper back backwards as fast as you can. That might jolt the person behind you. It might spill their drink if they have something on their tray table. I'm all for reclining because I bought that chair, and I bought everything that chair does and everything that chair encompasses. So I'm not afraid to recline, especially once we get up and going. I just thought this was an interesting tweet, and I was going to discuss it with Jerry because I know Jerry's traveling. As a matter of fact, Jerry has already traveled. He's in a hotel in Michigan, which is why he's having internet and technological disasters. So I was going to ask him, what are his thoughts? What are your thoughts when you travel? Are you a recline person? Do you stay perfectly perpendicular to the floor? I think it's fine. I never get too caught up in it. The one thing, but don't be this person. Don't be this guy. Don't be this lady. Don't be this person. Don't be the person who takes your shoes off on a flight. Don't wear sandals, flip-flops, clogs, Crocs, Birkenstocks, none of the above. Keep those crusty digits covered. Keep your crusty feet covered on the airplane. That's number one. And when you get up to go use the restroom, don't yank the seat back in front of you and snap that person like a slingshot. That's a horrible thing to do. Don't ever do that to somebody when you're flying. I've got JP in the chat. I always ask the person behind me if they mind me reclining first. If they say they have longer legs and not so much room, then I don't bother. Being considerate should come with the cost of your ticket. Jay, I agree. I don't necessarily go the extra effort to turn around and tell them that this chair is coming back, but I do ease it back slowly. I do want to jump into something else, and this was something Jerry had sent to me, but since I already had planned on covering it, I thought we'd break it down. And this is another good people, bad tweets. This one's Dynasty related, though. Got that going for us. This is from Dynasty IM, at Dynasty_IM. And the tweet goes as follows. Third-year wide receivers to post 21 plus points per game. Justin Jefferson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Rare, historic, generational. Whatever you call it, JSN is Dynasty wide receiver 1. And I thought to myself, when Jerry sent that to me, I thought to myself, this is a bold take. This is, I don't want to say out of pocket because it's not horrible. I don't think it's horrible to have a wide receiver in their third year as the wide receiver 1 overall in Dynasty. Jerry and I think it was 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, we did our personal Dynasty rankings, and I know Jackson Smith and Jigba was just outside that big 5. And obviously in the off season, there will be some reevaluations going. And speaking of Justin Jefferson, I'm going to talk more about him when I talk about this big mega trade that I did with Jax. But, not that Justin Jefferson is washed. Please don't hear what I'm not saying. My concern with Justin Jefferson, and I didn't have time to do the splits, but I would be willing to bet a sizable amount of money that I believe he's going into year 6 of his career. I believe he's wrapping up year 5. He'll be going into year 6. It's amazing how fast this dynasty thing that we do goes. But my wager with you would be is I bet you that in his game splits with J.J. McCarthy as the starting quarterback, he is averaging single digits in PPR per game. That's tough. And going back to this statement from Dynasty IM, this is why I can get behind it. Whether you like Sam Darnold or whether you do not like Sam Darnold is good for wide receivers. He was excellent for Justin Jefferson last year. Justin Jefferson last year was a top wide receiver. And right now, I'm pulling this up right now as we speak because I've got to freewheel a little bit. I don't have Jerry to buy me a minute. But as we speak, Jackson Smith-Njigba is the wide receiver 1, and he's got a 24-point margin on Puka Nacua at wide receiver 2. In fairness to Puka, he did miss a game due to injury in week 7 and then came back strong. And he's also got a 27-point lead on Amon-Ra St. Brown. But then you get all the way down there, man, and it's just not good for Justin Jefferson. On the season, wide receiver 26. And J.J. McCarthy's not going anywhere. And I'll give credit where credit's due because I've been as difficult and as tough on J.J. McCarthy as anybody in the dynasty space over this entire season. I'm not going to throw that weak chestnut of, well, he played the Cowboys and he played the Commanders at home. That doesn't matter. You can only play who you can play. In the last couple of games, he's looked better. But in those games, in those last 2 games with J.J. McCarthy playing arguably the best 2 games of his career, Justin Jefferson scored 3.1 PPR points and 4.2 PPR points. And Sam Darnold's not going anywhere, guys. Last year, I'm pulling it up. I promise you I'm pulling it up right now. I'm pulling up 2024, and I'm going Justin Jefferson at the wide receiver position last year finished as wide receiver 2, just ahead of Amon-Ra St. Brown and behind Jamar Chase in what was a legendary season last year for the Cincinnati Bengals. So Justin Jefferson with Sam Darnold, wide receiver 2 in 2024. Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver 1, currently by margin in 2025. So this tweet was so good that it really made me want to go through and reevaluate, redo, and relook at my dynasty rankings. But when Jerry first sent it to me, I want to say I thought this tweet was out of pocket. I really did. I thought this was sensationalism. But I've had this for about a week, and I've stewed on it. And the more I read it, and the more I think through it, the more I'm good with this gentleman, because I'm assuming it's a gentleman, because Dynasty IM does not necessarily indicate gender, but the picture in the of the little icon is a dude. So this gentleman, I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but that is good people with bad tweets. In this case, not a bad tweet, just a thought-provoking tweet. But I'm going to jump into my trade. So a lot of you guys know my buddy. He also simulcasts his podcast, The Undroppables, here on the Player Profiler Network. His name is Jax Falcone, and Jax is at Dino Game Theory. And Jax and I are in a league. He is actually the commissioner of this league, and Jax runs a great league. Let me start by saying that. Jax runs a fantastic dynasty league, and he's assembled, quite frankly, in my opinion, the dynasty Avengers of this dynasty league. I mean, it's and I'm like, what Avenger would I be? I'm gonna go Winter Soldier. One of my, because I do love myself. I'm like the Winter Soldier of this league. You got JJ Zacharyson. That's probably the Iron Man of the league. You got Theo Grimminger. That's like the Thor of the league. You got, Pat Fitzmaurice. He's like, the Captain America of this league. I mean, this league is just chock full of some real heavy hitters. And it was the league that Jax was kind enough to invite me in, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. Me and someone else, and I don't remember which one of the league mates was a dispersal owner, but I decided to come in and take an orphan. And it's been one of my funner leagues. It's a 14-team league, and we start 12. It's super flex. It's tight end premium. It's got some rushing first down points. It's got some points per first down for catches. Anyway, very deep league. So I want you to think about that. So before I get into who got traded, who didn't get traded, I want you to take that into consideration. It's super flex. It's tight end premium. And we start 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end. I'll get to my tight end, 4 flexes and a super flex. So 12 spots total. The final 4 of this league, who did I beat? I don't even remember who I beat, and I apologize. I beat Justin Boone. Justin Boone, another Avenger of the Dynasty content creation space. He was supposed to beat me. His team didn't show up. Mine did. I advanced. I'm playing in one half of the bracket. I am playing Shane Manella. You might know Shane from Dynasty and Chill. He used to have a trade show. He does work with Destination Devi and our boy Ray Garvin. And this week, I am taking on Shane Manella and his undefeated in the regular season. He had to bye last week. He's undefeated 14-0 team. I'm taking on Shane. And in the other matchup, it is Hayden Winks. Hayden works for Underdog, I believe. And then, of course, the late round QB himself, Mr. JJ Zacharyson. That's the other semifinal. So very, very prestigious league. And that also ties back to this trade, by the way. It's a league that this is the league that bragging rights matter, right? I love our patron leagues. We have had our Dynasty WarZone patron leagues for, I believe this is the 5th or 6th season. We've never had a league fold. We add new leagues every year. I love our patrons. As a matter of fact, they drive me absolutely goddamn crazy because they know who I like. We interact all the time, and drafting and trading with these guys is brutal. But this is a league of heavy hitters. And to win this league is the feather in the cap of any dynasty creator, right? You want to stand out among your peers. Yes, I'm looking at Paul in the chat. Yes, Paul. Yes, generally you want bragging rights when you play in a league like this. So I've got a good team. I've got a good team. I'm going to pull it up so I can cover it with you. Again, Superflex, tight end premium. My quarterbacks will not surprise any of you. And I got these guys in a dispersal. Jared Goff. I love Jared Goff. I've said this for years. Jared Goff is the QB1 that you do not have to pay QB1 prices for. Look at this guy's history. All he does year after year is finish as QB 6-10. 6-10. That's a QB1 in point scoring. He's not a QB1 in sexiness. People don't like him. He's just not a sexy quarterback. I mean, maybe the ladies and some gents find him sexy, but from a dynasty standpoint, people don't find him sexy. And my other quarterback in this league, the Ginger Jesus, Sam Darnold, also shouldn't surprise you. I've always had a lot of Sam Darnold. I actually have to start him tonight because Daniel Jones is on IR. I don't know that I would have played Daniel Jones against the 49ers defense. I might have. And then I have Shedeur Sanders. And you guys, and one thing you're going to learn about this trade as I dive deeper into it is I walk it like I talk it. If I tell you guys, hey, I'm looking for cheap players and I use this in my builds, I don't tell you guys this because I'm bullshitting. I would never lie or mislead the audience because that's not how I do things and that's not how I play the game. So speaking of Shedeur, side note, as weak as this quarterback class is, unless they finish with the number 1 overall pick and have a guaranteed shot at Mendoza, I think Shedeur may get 2026. I really do. I would not be surprised if this quarterback room in 2026 was Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel, with Shedeur getting the majority of the starts. I really see it. The Dylan Gabriel experiment's over. Done. done. Cheeks, done. I don't ever see him really being a starter unless one of the other two gets hurt. And so, but anyway, that's a little side note on Shador. I have who I have. My starting running backs this week, the two running backs in the running back spot are Kenneth Walker, because if I'm going to play Kenneth Walker tonight, which I'm going to, I had better put him in the running back spot and leave those flex spots to be able to flex. My other running back, Derrick Henry, King Henry, 30-plus year old, but, he's leading me here. I have Mike Evans, and I'll get to the trade here shortly. Jalen Waddle, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Darren Waller also traded for him. That was the mini trade that I made this week. Tyron Tracy, Breece Hall, RJ Harvey, Brenton Strange. That's my starters. I've got some, Rashad White. I would play White if for some reason Bucky weren't to play. I got TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson has not been killing me, and he was a starter for me on this team prior to the trades that I made, but, pretty solid team. But let's get into the trade. The first trade that I made was I traded what is currently. So I am, if I got eliminated today from this league, I would be the 311. My draft pick out of a 14-team league would have been the 311, the 111, the 211, the 411, where it's the 11th pick. Hopefully with a little bit of luck and some run good, it can be the 14th pick. So I sent the 311 for Darren Waller. And not that I couldn't have played TJ Hawkinson, and this was prior to the Tua getting bench news, but I don't care. I don't care that Quinn Ewers is starting. I traded I literally traded a 314 for this matchup. The Cincinnati Bengals are historically bad against the tight end. And Darren Waller in those matchups, he feasts. So Jalen Waddle, I'm a little bit worried about with the Tua news, but the Darren Waller news, not at all. So that was the small trade that I made. Little bitty trade, nothing too crazy. I was just, trying to take advantage of what's been an all-time matchup. And the Bengals stats against the tight ends is just absolutely crazy. Here's the big trade. The big trade. I don't know why he wanted these guys outside of the fact that I probably would have had to have cut them. I guess I could have moved one of the guys to my taxi squad, but I sent, I'll start with the big stuff first. I sent Justin Jefferson in the 2026 111. So again, currently my first in 2026, it's at least the 111, could be the 114, currently the 111, but I sent Justin Jefferson, the 111, and a 2027 second. Hopefully I'm good again next year for DJ Giddens and Tank Dell. Even if Tank Dell were to come back super healthy, where would he rank on the Texans on that team? Wide receiver 4? I mean, I'm assuming Christian Kirk's not a Texan next year, but wide receiver 4, they got Noel, they got Higgins, obviously Nico Collins is there, Dalton Schultz is involved. So Tank Dell is afterthought at this point, which kind of stinks because before his catastrophic knee injury, I thought he had a chance to be a pretty solid dynasty asset. And then DJ Giddens, someone that I was pretty high on coming into the season behind Jonathan Taylor. I don't know if he's unprofessional. I don't know if he's not picking up the offense. I know one time he got Daniel Jones absolutely smoked because he missed a pass protection. I don't know what it is, but somewhere along the way, Shane Steichen, the Colts, they do not trust DJ Giddens. But that's who I sent. Justin Jefferson, Giddens, Tank Dell, the 111, and a 2027 second. In return, I got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mike Evans, Rashad White, and his 2027 third. If that 27 second and 27 third ended up being the same pick they are now, it would essentially be the 211 for the 304. So those picks are just, handful of spots apart. So that's really a wash to me, but that was the deal that we made. And Jax posted this on Twitter X. And Jax does this a lot because Jax runs a lot of leagues and he runs good leagues and he's a content creator just like me. And he posted a lot of these. And I was looking through his feed and some of the trades got 1,000 views and some of them got 5,000 views. And one of them, I believe, even got as many as 9,000 views. But as of noon today, when I put this show sheet together, this tweet between Jax and myself had gotten 41,000 impressions or views on Twitter X. Very polarizing, ton of comments. A lot of people had a lot to say. I defended myself a little bit, but I thought this would be the better platform to do it. So I will start with the big ones. Number one, I want to win this league. I think I made that pretty apparent. That I want to win this league. And Justin Jefferson, who should be helping carry me, is not. I'll just start there. Now, I looked at the Player Profiler Dynasty wide receiver rankings. We as a collective still have Justin Jefferson as wide receiver 4 and Amon-Ra St. Brown as wide receiver 6. I would probably have those inverted, but Amon-Ra St. Brown continues to crush. So for me, I moved out of the Justin Jefferson business, but I didn't move backwards, right? I didn't move into a different tier. I didn't go to an Emeka Ibuka. I didn't move to a guy that is not an elite asset. All right. Justin Jefferson's about 26 and a half years old. Amon-Ra just turned 26. He's like 26.1. So he's about 6 months younger than Justin Jefferson. That means nothing in the scope of Dynasty, but I stayed within the same Dynasty quote-unquote value chart tier and the same age. Those are both relevant. Those are both important. So for me, I felt like I gave up Justin Jefferson for Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then to me, I gave up that 2026 first for Mike Evans and Rachaad White. And you might say that's a horrible overpay. And maybe it is. Maybe it is a horrible overpay. But to me, Mike Evans is 33 years old. He'll be a free agent. Maybe he's back in Tampa Bay. Maybe he's not. But one thing I'm buying with that with Mike Evans, whether or not he's ever a contributor on this team beyond this season, is Mike Evans is going to ball his ass out. Probably not the right terminology. Mike Evans is going to play really well these next couple of weeks, and I'm hoping to lean into that as I'm trying to win a Dynasty championship. Mike Evans plays the Carolina Panthers this week. That's essentially for the division in the NFC South. We just saw Mike Evans come back off of the IR, crushed it. What do you think Mike Evans is going to do the rest of the way? Now, I saw someone jokingly tweet that Mike Evans needs 243 yards per game over the last 3 to stay at that 1,000 yards per season streak that he has, currently tied with Jerry Rice. I don't know that if he gets it, but if he does, I will not be disappointed. I think Mike Evans is going to ball. And then Rachaad White. I'm not even playing Rachaad White this week. Rachaad White was, again, I walk it like I talk it. If I tell you guys I do something, or tell you guys or recommend you all do something, I've either already done it or I'm going to do it myself. And that's Rachaad White. Rachaad White, let's say I managed to pull the upset and I beat Shane this week. Using the sleeper predictive model, it's 42% me, 58% Shane. So although he's a favorite, I could win this. But let's say I happen to get lucky and I beat Shane this week, and one of my other running backs gets hurt. Maybe RJ Harvey re-injures those ribs, right? Well, then I could at least at a minimum have someone in a league that is super deep with a ton of starters. I could play him. But for me with Rachaad White, it's more about the offseason. Because if Rachaad White, like a lot of guys on my team, I feel like I have all of the stars of the upcoming free agent running back class. I've got Kenneth Walker. I've got Breece Hall, and now I have Rachaad White. But if these guys land in exceptional landing spots, I mean, that gives me 3 lottery tickets at a running back that could land in Kansas City. And on a side note, the running back that lands in Kansas City, especially if it's a veteran free agent like White or Hall or Walker, that's going to be a big spot because you're not going to see prime Patrick Mahomes next year. First of all, he just turned 30. And he's coming off of a dual ligament tear in his knee. So while he'll still be able to conjure up a little bit of that Mahomes magic, he won't be the exact same dude he's always been the early part of his career. And I could really see Andy Reid and the Chiefs leaning on the running game. So if one of my guys like Rachaad White lands on the Chiefs, that would be a huge value for Rachaad White and his dynasty value. So, and then I feel like I gave Amon-Ra for Justin Jefferson, and to make him do that, I gave up the second, and then I gave up the first for Mike Evans and White, and the third. Again, people won't love it, and I understand, but I've always said this: you have to lose trades to win leagues, and I think the reason why this trade again brought up so much polarization amongst the people who reacted to it on Twitter X was because people only remember Justin Jefferson for who he was. And that's not to say that Justin Jefferson can't be that guy again. It's not to say that Justin Jefferson can't go back to being the guy that scored 21 PPR points a game. But what's going to change? Something has to change. More than likely, as we sit here today, I firmly believe that Kevin O'Connell will continue to be the head coach, the play designer, and the play caller. And I firmly believe that J.J. McCarthy will be the starting quarterback, especially if he can build off the 2 games of success he's had the last 2 weeks. But that J.J. McCarthy success has not generated Justin Jefferson success. As I told one people in the comments of Jax's tweet, I don't care where J.J. has been. I care where JJ's going. That's all that matters in Dynasty, guys. And this is like more of a baseball thing, and I apologize if I'm rambling or this is going in 92 different directions because I don't really have a show sheet because I had written this thinking that I would have a co-host to bounce this off of. It's kind of like in baseball. Baseball has the worst contracts of any sport. I think basketball is close because in baseball, we always pay these guys off of what they've done. They're guaranteed for life. They're 8-year, 10-year, insanely crazy contracts. And you see these guys, and they get paid off what they've done, and not so much what we think they can do going forward. And look at NFL contracts. And for whatever you think, the NFL to me is the smartest ran professional sports league in the world. And their success backs up my statement. You know, they give front-loaded contracts. You guys know I love Sam Darnold. You guys know I love the Ginger Jesus. But his contract, even though he's played mostly well, the Seahawks have won 11 games with him this year. But they wrote that contract with him, you know, I think it was a 3-year, $130 million, 125, somewhere in there. They wrote that contract knowing that if Sam Darnold didn't play well, it was essentially a 1-year deal. It was a 1-year deal. Now, they were willing to give him 3 years and $130 million, but it was structured in a way that they could get out of it. Why? The NFL does not care what you've done. The NFL cares what you can do going forward. And if you look this offseason at extensions and free agent signings, look at that. And remember what I said. Look at how they're structured. I'll tell you the Cooper Kupp contract last year, speaking of Seattle. It's structured to where it's essentially a 1-year deal. And so was the Devontae Adams contract. NFL contracts are front-loaded. They know the salary cap's going up. The dead cap number is designed so that they can get out of these contracts when they want. And it's because they are looking at where the player is going. They build the contracts with some speculation and trepidation, and that's what I did with Justin Jefferson. Am I shorting Justin Jefferson if he was a stock right now? Absolutely not. I'm not shorting him. I'm not shorting his talent. There's nothing about Justin Jefferson in and of itself that I do not like. But I know that as a dynasty manager in a league that I want to compete in for 3 years, I'm not sure of what Justin Jefferson's going to be able to do. Not because of him, because of his quarterback and his quarterback situation. But you know what I got with Amon-Ra St. Brown? Here's the nugget. I got a guy in the exact same tier as Justin Jefferson. I gave up a guy who's currently scoring 11 PPR points a game for a guy scoring 19 PPR points a game. I just put 8 additional points in my lineup in a key matchup when I need it the most. I picked up a veteran who is likely to score me in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 points. And if he has one of those Mike Evans blow-up spots, that could be the kind of spot that helps me because I'm the underdog. That helps me win a matchup in a league that I really, really want to win. And then I'm going to get into the other side of this trade. I want to talk a little bit more about this first. But if I didn't sell you the first time, maybe I'll sell you this time on Fast Draft.
I know your sad draft season is over, but just because the NFL season starts doesn't mean the drafting stops. Because Fast Draft has the Flex 6 Frenzy. You're drafting 6 guys for the Sunday slate. It's fast, it's furious, it's fun. And as with everything on Fast Draft, there are no salaries. Woo! So go to draftfaster.com, get the app, use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. Now let's go start drafting faster.
I do love Fast Draft. I wonder if I can play when I'm out of state. I know when I fly into Phoenix, I can definitely do Fast Draft there. I don't know. If that's the case, I will go ballistic on Fast Draft next week when I'm out of Indiana. At some point, we got to make this legal. If you want to play Fast Draft, you want to get set up. This way you don't have to mess with it come Best Ball and Origin season. Set it up now. Promo code WarZone, all caps, all one word. Get that deposit match. And then let's talk about the thing that really, and I'm not going to use the terminology because it's just not a word that I like. We'll just use take advantage. They forcefully took advantage of me was what people in the comments of Jack's tweet were saying. And I don't have any like weird proclivities about bad language. I just think there's a certain amount of taste that I have. Like I'm an F-bomb guy. I'm a very colorful language. But they thought I was getting taken advantage of. And what people don't understand is the context of my pick. My pick is currently the 111, okay? To me personally in Dynasty, this class is a down rookie class. Outside of a couple of 3 wide receivers, Jeremiah Love and Fernando Mendoza, I don't know who else I'm supposed to get super excited about, especially in superflex leagues. I've got a list here. This is a list. I didn't crop the gentleman's name off of it, but it was from Fantasy Guys. And this particular ranker has, and this was as of Thanksgiving, so things could have changed. He had Jeremiah Love, Jordan Tyson, Mendoza, Makai Lemon, Carnell Tate, Dante Moore. I don't think Dante Moore's coming out. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Ty Simpson. I want no part of Ty Simpson. Denzel Boston, Kenyon Sadiq, Jonah Coleman, Elijah Surratt, Jeremy Bernard, Casey Concepcion, and Chris Brazel. At first, I thought that was Brazers, but maybe I'm telling on myself. So around 111, I'm going to go from 9 through 14. Who am I supposed to get excited about? Who did I give up my rookie pick to get a shot at? Am I missing out big on Sadiq, Coleman, Surratt? I mean, for me in Dynasty, and that's with Superflex tied in premium, gang. You imagine this in a 1 QB league? Can you imagine how unvaluable these picks are going to be this year? They are absolute dog turds. But people love draft picks. People absolutely love draft picks. I love winning championships. I love winning money. This isn't the highest stakes of league. Again, the stakes that I'm playing for, the bragging rights against people that I have a absolute shit ton of respect for. That's what I'm playing for. But I'm also playing for money. I play for money. And like I said, it would be a nice Christmas gift if I were to get the cash. But again, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I feel like I've got a guy in Amon-Ra St. Brown that's going to be a key part of this roster next year, a guy that'll probably be in best ball and seasonal formats, probably a guy that's drafted in the first round. I think Jefferson may fall out of the first round. I'll be very curious to hear the narrative around Justin Jefferson come startup season, dynasty ranking season, and then as we creep into best ball season, followed by redraft season. I'll be very curious to see what the various forms of fantasy football and his ADP shake out to. Because, I mean, if he's had 3 games in a row of less than 5, think about that. Less than 5. He has less points over the last 3 weeks than John Mechie. That pregnant pause was on purpose, guys. That gave you something to think about. That is crazy. Now, can things get better? Of course they can get better. Can J.J. McCarthy and him develop some chemistry in the offseason and can't? Of course. Of course, and he could go right back to being Justin Jefferson of old. But I don't have to worry about that. You know why? Because I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's going to be the same age. He's going to have Sam Darnold. He's still going to play 10, 11 games in a dome every year. He's still going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's tougher than tough. He plays almost every game, plays hurt, plays big. So for me, in my actual lineup, I didn't lose much. And in the chase of this championship, I didn't lose much. I don't say I went all in, because the one thing that Jax really wanted that I refused to give up was my 2027 first, because that's going to be a good class. I think that's the class that Dante Moore is going to come out. I like the way that Arch Manning has played over the last month or so of the season. And I think it's going to be a much better QB class in 2027. And I think it's going to be a much better wide receiver class. And I think that's pretty easy with Smith and Williams from Alabama and Ohio State, respectively. So, I mean, without even mentioning running back one in 2027, I think 2027 first are going to be pretty valuable. And I know how fragile Dynasty can be, and that's why I'm not a big fan of moving those future firsts, because this team, even though it could win a championship in the next 2 weeks, it could completely fall apart next year. Derrick Henry's old. A lot of these running backs are going to be on a new team. And when you have to start when you have to start 12 in a 14-team league, you need a degree of luck in there too. And I've had that this year. So I kept it realistic. I didn't want to go too far out, but that was my trade. That was the big trade that broke the internet this week. And but that was my side. And maybe Jax will break it down on his show, The Undroppables. I threw in the Darren Waller one. I think Darren Waller, people are panicking because of the Tua Tagovailoa news. I'm sure with Jerry back next week, we'll discuss Tua. We'll discuss Patrick Mahomes. We'll discuss a lot. Travis Kelce, I think he's done. A lot of that. But I did say I would answer some trade questions, and we had some comments on YouTube. And for those of you that happen to be fortunate enough to see the first 5 minutes that I did by myself, I apologize in advance. That was not me. It's next level cursing. Not like there's anything cancel worthy. It was just not what I try to do when I do a broadcast. So, but I said I'd get a trade, and I'm going to take care of the people who sent me some trades. JP Tay, he sent these at the same time. He got an offer for Puka. The offer was Jalen Waddle, Ashton Genty, Kyle Monongae. He asked for Monongae, Genty, and Nico instead. Am I wrong for valuing Puka around these three first in value? I'm not even a fan of Waddle. I think you're taking all of the risk. You're banking on Monongae not getting usurped in free agency. Remember, Chicago, they will explore. I think they like Swift, but I would be very careful about overvaluing Kyle Monongae. DJ Swift, I think, will still be there. And if the Bears decide to dabble, because again, this is what teams that have rookie quarterbacks on rookie contracts can do. They can go out and sign Breece Hall to a 2-year deal. They can go out and sign a Kenneth Walker. And if that were to happen, that would absolutely submarine the value of Kyle Monongae. Genty's going to bounce back, guys. Not a huge fan of Ashton Genty at his value, but he's been solid. If I remember correctly, and I can pull this up because you guys understand I'm working with out of support system here this week. Ashton Genty, wrong season. I got to go back to the 2025 season. Ashton Genty is currently the running back 16. Running back 16. Is it going to be a stretch? No, I don't think Ashton Genty will ever be worth what he wanted. And the difference between Nico and Waddle doesn't bother me. 6 one way, half dozen the other. I don't blame you for wanting to diversify and getting some things. I would think if you're doing this, Nico, and let me switch to some wide receiver scoring real quick. Nico currently is the wide receiver 8. He's scoring 16 PPR points per game. You're giving up Puka Nacua, who is scoring just a shade under 22. So if you think that Monongae and Genty are worth 6 PPR points above the guys they would replace in your lineup, then it's a good deal. Pretty simple. It's a very war wins above replacement. I've heard people call it par, points above replacement in fantasy sports. If you think that's good for your current roster, and then because I'm just going to treat Nico and Puka like they're going to continue to stay stagnant, 22 and 16. So if you think that not only at his current play that Genty can, add points to your lineup, and same with Monangai, then yeah, absolutely. I think I would rather have Nico than Waddle, to be real honest. Waddle has played very good down the stretch. His quarterback situation a little bit more choppy. So I think I lean Nico. I'm checking ages. Nico, 26, will be 27 in the offseason, and Waddle just turned 27. So they're essentially the same age, 6 months apart. I think I'd rather have Collins. If I'm being dead honest with you, I do think I wouldn't have Collins. I think I would accept his call. Oh, he asked for it. He was offered Waddle. Yeah, stick to your guns. I think I want Nico. I misinterpreted that. So, yeah. So, stick to your guns. Say how you can work it. Don't be hoggish, but I think what you're asking for, Waddle's averaging 13.5 points a game. Yeah, it's got to be Nico. Nico or no deal. Beat it, geek. So that's the deal. Yeah, you were on the right track. I like that trade, actually. Jamie Parag. Jamie, thank you. Thank you for always, coming through. Jamie Parag. Jamie hosts the Fantasy Six Pack with his buddy Kyle. Check out the Fantasy Six Pack because they support us. I'd like to give them a shout. He said, just got an offer that seems too good to be true. Trevor Lawrence for Kyler Murray in a late first. Jamie, did you just hear my interpretation of this Dynasty rookie class in 2026? Take that pick and run. Liam Cohen, in my humble opinion, is not getting enough love for head coach of the year, rookie coach of the year. I know we all like to, tug on old Ben Johnson, and deservedly so. The Bears have been great. Absolutely great. But I don't think that for equal records, we're getting enough love for Liam Cohen. And I think that because that's the one thing that always concerns you, and this is good for Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence, these head coaches aren't going anywhere. Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence are very safe, and Trevor Lawrence will get Travis Hunter back. Maybe they can get Brian Thomas back on track. There's a lot to like in Trevor Lawrence, and I don't know who's going to pick up Kyler Murray. Someone will, because just like Daniel Jones and Baker and Darnold, someone will think, I can fix him, and maybe they can't. If you can get out of that for a late first, I would be done. He also said that I would be Vision. Please don't put that on me. I'm not smart enough to be Vision 1. I'm not strong enough to be the Hulk. I'm sticking with the Winter Soldier. Man, I wish I had Sebastian Stan's beautiful head of hair. Paul said, he's I'm naming a lot of guys that he would listens to a lot. Yeah. I mean, I pulled the league up, and I'm grateful just to be in the league. I don't know why Jax thought, hey, I have an orphan and I will ask this dumbass named Memphis to be in there. But yeah, it's Shane, Hayden Weeks, JJ, Danny Kelly, Justin Boone, Nate Liss, Sharper Review, Izzy Elkafast, Graham Barfield, Pat Fitzmaurice, Theo Grimminger, Jax, and Scott Connor. It is a league of heavy hitters. And this one would be a big feather in my cap. So of course, no nuts, no glory. Uncle Ted said Jahar Jordan. You know what? Fire him up. One of our patrons. I want to make sure I give him a shout out because you know what? He's a patron. He's a buddy, and he reached out to me because we were talking about he was Daniel Harper. Daniel was debating whether or not he was going to start Stafford or CJ Stroud. And I told him, I said, I couldn't bring myself to bench Matthew Stafford. I know the weather's going to be a little windy. I know it's going to be rainy, and I don't give a shit. If I bench Matthew Stafford and he goes out there and has 4 touchdowns in like a 28-31 game, I wouldn't, and I lost the fantasy, I would never be able to look at myself. I think with the division on deck, I don't think D'Amico Ryans wants to get cute. He's going to pound the ball and let the defense and the running game. And I know Woody Mark's likely not to play. They're probably going to be super careful with him. They're probably just going to lean on that they're probably just going to lean on the running game, maybe a little CJ Stroud. But if I'm D'Amico Ryans, I'm trying to keep everything fresh. So yeah, man, Franz or Uncle Ted, if you're in a spot with Jahar Jordan and you need to fire him up, you got it. Franz, another regular here. He was like classic Bill O'Reilly. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, fuck it, we'll do it live. As a matter of fact, if you're listening on Twitter X or YouTube, make sure you go to the Player Profiler podcast channel, and I will make the Bill O'Reilly entrance, the entrance song to tonight's show. Jay said, Memphis, thank you. He says he feels better for rejecting the deal. Yeah, Jay, 100% my guy. Definitely want Nico over Waddle, and I've been a Waddle guy, and Waddle's been nice. I just don't. I mean, again, ambiguity makes me nervous. You know, a little uncertainty makes me nervous. I don't know what the quarterback situation in Miami is going to be. I don't know what the head coach situation in Miami is going to be. I don't know if Tyreek Hill. There's just so much I don't know. And in Houston, I know it's going to be CJ Stroud. I know it's going to be Nico, and the two rookies. And we'll see from there. So Nico, very safe. Yeah, that's why I went there. Jamie said your show is the best. I don't know about that, but I do try to be awesome. Yep. And all right, am I right to make it a priority to go after Breece Hall and Tyler Algier this offseason? 100%. I would, if you know me, I don't like paying retail. I worked in retail for way too long to believe in paying retail. But I love Tyler Algier. Man, if I hate that. This is next year's Rico Dowdle. But man, if I could see a guy like, I mean, this is the guy. This is the guy that if I was a head coach, as more and more teams are running the ball a little bit more, you know, you have a young quarterback, you're trying to slow him down. Like, you've already got Aaron Jones. I don't think Jordan Mason has worked out. Tyler Algier is the kind of guy that if I'm Kevin O'Connell or I'm Andy Reid, I'm prioritizing a Tyler Algier. He's not blowing it up right now. He would be at the tippy top of my list. Breece Hall is going to be expensive. Breece Hall is going to be very expensive. Kenneth Walker, I agree. Kenneth Walker is going to be, that was Jerry's alumni buddy from Michigan State, and a guy that I absolutely love because I think that dude is nasty as a junkyard dog. But the injuries, I think maybe I don't know. Of those three, I'd rank him Hall, Walker, Algier, but in terms of cost to upside ratio, Algier's number one. He's not going to cost you a bunch. And if he gets a great spot, I mean, I don't know that you'd be able to get in rookie picks what his points per game is going to be next year. And he's going to be a short-lived asset. You know, he might have another year or two of real dynasty relevance. Doesn't matter. If you're a contender right now, as soon as the season's over, or if you're making trades right now to win your championship, Tyler Algier is the throw-in for the same reason I had Rachaad White thrown in. Because he has so much potential to do so much. I mean, we're talking, guys, we're in the end of December. Free agency is in 4 months. Actually, 3 months. 3 months. 3 months from now, 90 days from now, we'll be talking free agency. These guys will be signing, and these guys will get a huge, huge bump in value. I want to thank you guys for putting up with the shenanigans. Not Jerry's fault. He tried. He gave it hell. And his technology there in the whatever, I don't want to, label it like a certain brand of hotel is A, they're not a sponsor, and B, I don't want to say it was shit when it could have been Jerry's technological skills. All things equally possible. Be sure to check out Fast Draft. Use the promo code WarZone. I'm telling you, you're going to want to be in Origins because even though this rookie class is buns, it's still a lot of fun to draft, and it's like $5-10 depending on which version you play. So much fun. Promo code is WarZone. Paul, thank you for the kind words in the show. Paul, you are a sweet, sweet man. Paul says, don't sell yourself short. You fit right in with all those guys. You're right, Paul. I'm just being humble. I can beat anybody on any given day because I play the game well myself. But, dude, you guys are awesome. Surprised I made it this fucking long. And if I don't figure out how to get a live stream out on Sunday, I want you guys to have a Merry Christmas. I want you guys to have a Happy New Year, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating. I don't give a shit. What I really want you guys to do is be nice to somebody. How about that? Be nice to somebody. You see the little Salvation Army kettle gimmick, throw a 5 spot in there. You know what? It wouldn't hurt. You know, if they got the little scanner where you can Zelle or throw them a couple of bucks. You know what? That would be great. You see somebody trying to pull a grocery cart through the snow, help them get their shit to their car. It costs $0. For the next week, let's be nice to each other. Let's go win some fantasy championships. And I'll see you guys next week, one way or the other. Thank you, as always, for supporting the show. Thank you for tuning in. Go enjoy. I got you. You know what? I did you guys a solid. I got you right up to the start of the Rams-Seahawks game. Let's go watch the Ginger Jesus take on the LA Rams. Go Birds. See you guys. Thanks so much.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.